How's it going, everyone? I'm SirJames, coming at you guys with yet another custom lightsaber review. This time we're going to be taking a look at the Ultimate Works Dark Ray Saber that was released towards the end of 2022. Before I begin, just wanted to say happy belated New Year. I know I kind of took a hiatus here on the channel. Every time I went to try to record, I just really wasn't into it, so I decided to take the opportunity to take a small break, mostly away from the channel. I kind of stopped by here and there, but just to enjoy some of my other hobbies, Warhammer, painting models, and whatever else that I was going to do. And pretty much it was quite enjoyable, but of course I know a lot of you guys have been missing the content, so I'm here to kick things off the new year with the Dark Ray Saber from Ultimate Works. So hopefully this is worth the wait for you. So let me go ahead and give you guys a close-up here. So here we have the emitters, and it's pretty much going to be the same on both sides. It's two sabers here after all. Over here, this is where you're going to have the switches. So based on how my board is lined up, the top one here is the activation. The bottom one here is going to be the auxiliary button. Then we have the rest of the hilts. Right here in this section, this will actually unscrew, getting access to the internals. For anyone who is unfamiliar with the Ultimate Works sabers, Ultimate Works has a pretty cool mechanism that I like personally. Let me go ahead and bring that over here. Is they actually use this. This is their internal board here. Now this is the Profi configuration. Obviously the battery's out at the moment. And what's cool about these boards is that this is kind of a good way to start a lightsaber collection, especially if you want to collect some hilts without breaking the bank too much. Is that you can go out and buy a fully installed Ultimate Works lightsaber. So maybe you got it fully installed, whatever variation of the board you want, whether it's Profi or the Asteria Hearts, and then you got a blade with it and all that. And let's say down the road that they released another lightsaber, or there was one on their website in stock that caught your interest and you wanted to get it. Rather than having to buy that second lightsaber fully installed, you can opt in to get a pre-kit option, which basically has pre-electronics built into the hilt, where you can go ahead and pop out this chassis from your existing saber and put it into your new hilt, just like that. And it's a very simple and easy process, and it's a good way to save a lot of money, which is why, you know, for people who might be starting out a collection, usually I try to steer towards the Ultimate Works option, because you can build a lightsaber collection and just keep popping your chassis into all your new hilts without having to spend, you know, that extra $200 to $300 or whatever the case it's going to be, depending on hilt, of course, and whether or not it's double bladed and all that fun stuff. But that's what I like about them. Yeah, so like I said, this is the Dark Ray hilt. Now, last time I reviewed a Dark Ray Saber was, I don't know, a couple years ago or so through Saberforge. At the time, it was with, I don't recall the electronics. It wasn't Profi. It was some form of electronics that I don't think I was quite into at the time, at least if I recall. But I was also weathered with heat treating on the emitters. But obviously this one, as you can see, it is not weathered at all. So this is the clean version of the hilt. And some people might like the clean version over the weathered option. I'm the complete opposite. I like weathered lightsabers because it kind of gives it a story, and it looks like it's been around for a while. And there's different forms of weathering, from light to heavy to relic looking. I'm kind of a mixture between light, medium, and a little bit of heavy on occasion, depending on where the hilt is from. But of course, this does feature the iconic folding mechanism, as you've seen, or from the small clip, of course, in Star Wars Episode 9. Now, as far as that film goes, some people may like it or hate it, but we're not here to discuss whether you like it or hate it. We're just here to focus on the lightsaber, because this was only in just for a small scene, but it was still a cool mechanism. The only other time we've seen a lightsaber fold was Pong Krell from the Clone Wars. We also had the Temple Guard saber from the Star Wars Rebels. And what else? I think those are the only ones I can recall as far as what we've seen in game. But nonetheless, still cool hilt altogether. Now, I did actually run into a hardware issue, and mind you that I'm the only one who had this particular issue, and I've reviewed quite a few of the Ultimate Works lightsaber brands, and this is the first time I've ever had anything. Now, my hardware issue has nothing to do with any of the electronics, but it was actually involving the connector piece. Let's see, let me go ahead and try to bring this over here for you guys to see. If you look here, just at the top, you'll notice that looks like chipped metal. That's because that's exactly what it is. Within a week of having the saber, and again, mind you that I'm the only one that's had this issue, and it was just probably a fluke, but the issue was resolved anyways, is that my hinge started to now function within the first week, and I barely used it, which was very weird. And so to the point where it was starting to become like really hard to close or open. And then I reached out to the pack store where I bought it from, because they carry the Ultimate Works products. And pretty much I knew right away that they're going to have good customer service. Explained, showed them the photos and videos, and they sent me a new connector, which is what's on here right now, which is why it's working as it's supposed to. And since I was able to keep the old messed up connector, I decided to glue the pieces down. And this is the probably one thing I'm going to mention. This is my only negative about this lightsaber. It existed way back when I did the Saberforge version, and unfortunately it still exists in this one. The one thing I do not like about this lightsaber is this. Now, it's not the folding mechanism that I have an issue with. It's just that, unfortunately, there is no way to somehow lock this to keep it from being pressed. Now, the reason why that is a big issue is because let's say you wanted to use this, as in swing it around. Most commonly, you're going to be grabbing anywhere towards this midsection. Now, imagine swinging this around, and you're going to notice it in the beginning portion when I go outside and swing this, because I pre-recorded that first, is that as you're swinging, especially for me, because I tend to grab towards the center quite a bit, is that if your fingers accidentally land on that button, it doesn't take long to basically disengage it. It literally doesn't take much of any effort as far as button pressing. I mean, barely press it, just like that. Now imagine you swinging the saber, you accidentally press that, this comes swinging around and then landing where your hand is going to be, where your knuckles are going to be, depending on where your hand is at the time. So I think I called it like the knuckle breaker way back then, and unfortunately that still exists with this design, which is very frustrating. Now the good news is, and this is only if you want to, I'm not saying that you should, it's your lightsaber, you do as you want. Since this mechanism was already busted, I decided to glue those parts together, meaning that this will no longer close and open, it stays opened, and when I go and swing this, I could swing it perfectly fine. I don't have to worry about that little issue altogether. So just wanted to point that out. I wish there was a locking mechanism, a way to lock it. I checked and triple checked, hoping there was, but unfortunately there's not. A couple other things to point out too is that when it's in a closed state, you'll notice, since I'm not holding the other part here, there's actually a little bit of a magnet that's right here in this black section. Now, it's not a super strong magnet. I mean, it looks like it's strong because it's holding it closed, but just a little nudge and it comes apart, because obviously if you put too much of a strong magnet, it's probably going to mess with the electronics and stuff that's in here. And even if you had a blade in here, that would not hold like it's doing right now. So there is a little bit of a magnet, but it's not much. Again, it would easily come undone. The other thing to also point out is that there's no form of CoverTech wheel built into this, so if you're hoping to just clip it on to your side or anything like that, you're going to have to find an alternate solution. Now, if you do get this and you want access to the internals, this is where you're going to go. You're going to look for this section right here, underneath the red cylinders, and you're going to go ahead and unscrew that. Be careful, because it doesn't take too much to disconnect that, and you're going to get access to your board here, which you can go ahead and safely remove like so. And then line up the connectors when you're ready. Make sure these are lined up here. Let's see. There we go. Now to reattach it, if you look on the black, there's a couple indentations. There's one here, and there's one on the other side. And if you look on the connector here, you're going to notice those little sections that stick out. You're simply just going to line the pieces up, make sure it matches the other end of your hilts. Once you do so, slide up the metal piece and screw the parts back together. And that's how you access the internals. If you're curious how to do that and how to put it back, it's pretty simple. And it's always going to be lining up perfectly, and you could swap out how the hilts face. So if you want this to face the other way and this one facing this one, you can do so. So there's like a slight customization to how it is that you want to do it. But other than that, let me go ahead and switch to the sound font. There we go. Because when I go outside, unfortunately, the neighbor's dogs and my dogs are going to cause some interruptions, so you're going to hear probably a lot of barking. And I wanted to give you guys the opportunity to hear how it sounds all together within this nice quiet room. Now, because this is Profi, I only had a couple sound fonts on here. The first one being from Chirophonic, related to Dark Ray, with the twist on activation. Oop. The other one kind of went to sleep. So it sounds pretty nice and loud, and then even when it folds out, so as you can tell, very nice and loud, especially when it's open like this. The sound vents are a lot more exposed, and even when it's collapsed, while the sound vent is a little bit more condensed, it's still pretty decent sounding altogether. And then the next one, so you guys can hear that one.
Prince Arkham.
Nice loud speaker. Oh. Ooh, see, I pressed that button, I went to go reach it, solo-handed right there. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys the opportunity to hear it before I show you guys the outside shot. So let me go ahead and take this outside. Well, technically I already have, but you guys know what I mean. So here's the outside portion that I filmed with it in action. Mind you that the beginning portion of that clip is me using the actual working folding mechanism, where you're going to see it accidentally press while I was trying to swing it. Not done on purpose, just from its whole natural hand positioning. And then afterwards, I am ending up using the piece that is glued together where it no longer folds like it's doing now. So you have a little bit of a better idea how it would be a little bit more in motion. So let's go ahead and get to that right now.
Prince Arkham. Prince Arkham.
Who dared attack a Jedi? Yeah, overall, pretty cool. Alright, and welcome back. Like I said, I do apologize for the dogs barking. I can't do anything about the neighbor's dog, and when my dogs are going at it, it's just kind of, you know, what it is what it is. Anywho, yeah, like I said, when the part is glued together, and again, I wish it wasn't a thing. I wish you could just somehow lock it. But when it's like that, it's very comfortable and easy to use and swing around. But when it doesn't have any form of locking mechanism to just keep it from being accidentally pressed, it's just a little bit hard to handle as a double-bladed lightsaber, to where you have to be a little bit more cautious with how you swing it. Even with me being a little bit cautious, it's a natural reaction for me to reach towards the center, and for it to kind of disengage can be a bit tedious. So as much as I love double-bladed lightsabers, if there's one thing that I wish Ultimate Works would have done with this one, is that I wish they would have provided two connectors. I know it's asking for much, but hear me out. Because there's no way to lock that, or at least wasn't by design, maybe there's a way to do it, but I think it would have been cool if you could have two of these connectors inside the box. One of them is, you know, how it is right now, where it all, you know, folds up and, you know, unfolds and all that. Cool, right? And then have another connector inside the box where it's just one solid piece, to where it doesn't fold or anything, so if people want to swing it around, they could without having to worry about this accidentally closing in and potentially smashing their fingers, because nobody wants to get their fingers smashed, that's for sure. But other than that, that's really my only main complaint, is just with the mechanism. I wish there was at least two connectors provided in the box, or who knows, maybe if they watch this video, maybe they'll offer that as an option to purchase, hopefully for not too much. At least that's what I would like to see personally. But let me know what you guys think about this lightsaber in the comment section down below. Besides the gripe that I have involving how this functions and the fact that you can't lock it, I still like the hilt. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, I'm a big fan of double-bladed lightsabers. In fact, I have some other double-bladed sabers I'm going to be reviewing. I had recently purchased from the Dark Wolf sabers the Lord Maul saber from the end of the Star Wars Clone Wars season finale. I also have a pair of Ventress hilts, the curved ones that was given to her by Count Dooku. Technically, it's not a double-bladed saber, but it's got the connectors to make it double-bladed, so there's that. The Jedi Temple Guard from CC Sabers, and then that's as far as I could recall for double-bladed sabers. But like I said, I love them. I can't get enough of them, and I can't wait to check out some of the others. But if you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comment section down below. And don't worry, if you guys are going to ask, am I going to be reviewing the Jedi Dooku Legacy Saber? The answer is yes. Mine finally shipped from Shop Disney after all this time, which I thought was canceled, but apparently wasn't. So that should be here next week. Till then, you guys have a wonderful weekend, and may the Force be with you.